I think that, you know, that I think that BBC are still a bit stuffy because they get complaints and, you know, they're a sort of government body, so they fear complaints. But live, no, anything, it's just, no.
Well, when you go on the Golden Globes, a lot of time you are politically incorrect and hilarious, of course.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
So this is...
Well...
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the thing about offence, isn't it? When people say they're offended, it's that, just because you're offended, it doesn't mean you're right.
Ricky Gervais had enough with the political atmosphere surrounding Hollywood. He stood in front of some of the most famous celebrities in the industry and directly confronted them. This British-American comedian and actor has been quite vocal in recent years, sharing his thoughts on woke Hollywood and his perspective on the matter. But more importantly, Ricky holds a particular disdain for celebrities and influencers who use their platforms to promote woke ideologies while being political. For instance, check out how he humorously mocks these influencers in Hollywood.
Hi guys, Ricky G here, wellness and beauty influencer. As a celebrity, I know all about stuff, like science and politics, so trust me when I tell you who you should vote for. If you don't vote the right way, that's like a hate crime, and it makes me sad and angry, and I'll leave the country, and you don't want that.
In less than 30 seconds, Ricky humorously imitates a Hollywood celebrity, aiming to point out the irony in how they share their political views with their fans. While it might seem like harmless fun, Ricky's pointed remarks have done quite a bit of damage, calling out these celebrities for being out of touch and manipulative. In case you're still unsure whether Ricky cares about others' opinions, he once famously mentioned Taylor Swift as an example of such Hollywood celebrities. His speech at the Golden Globes revealed his consistent viewpoint, where he stated that many of these celebrities are ignorant and disconnected from the real world.
If you do win an award tonight, don't use it as a platform to make a political speech, right? You're in no position to lecture the public about anything. You know nothing about the real world. Most of you spent less time in school than Greta Thunberg. So, if you win, right, come up, accept your little award, thank your agent and your God, and off, okay?
Especially when it comes to politics. Ricky has stayed true to this stance throughout his career, urging people to stick to entertainment. As a comedian, Ricky has found creative ways to challenge woke culture through sharp, insightful jokes that highlight inconsistencies in its ideology.
You can get sued in this country for saying someone's gay if they're not, you know, which is a homophobic law, because you can't be sued the other way around. You can't be sued for saying someone's not gay if they are, which seems unfair, doesn't it?
However, for all his bold remarks and humorous jabs at woke culture, Ricky certainly faces his share of criticism, like the backlash that erupted following some of his comments during one of his shows. Yet, being Ricky, he remains unfazed.
My last show, Supernature, dropped on Netflix last year. Big backlash, wasn't there? Big backlash. People going, you can't say that. You can.
One notable instance was when Ricky referred to Caitlyn Jenner by her former name, something deemed offensive by the woke community, which coined the term dead naming. This term refers to addressing a person by their previous name after transitioning to a new gender. Watch how Ricky subtly addresses his views on this topic in a humorous manner.
And I found out my crime was that I dead named her. Now, I'd never heard that term, you know, before a day after the Golden Globes, and that was saying her old name and even acknowledging that she used to be a man. But she did. I saw him on the Olympic Games. It was decathlete. It was in everything. It was all over the place.
While making light of the situation, Ricky highlights what he sees as the absurdity of erasing someone's past identity entirely just to align with current beliefs. In this case, it feels even more peculiar, considering that Bruce Jenner held that name for 58 years. Despite the emergence of Caitlyn Jenner, the existence of Bruce Jenner hasn't been entirely wiped away. But perhaps what stands out most about Ricky is his expertise in using sarcasm to call out woke individuals and reveal the flaws in their thinking.
Yeah, I'm not a fascist. It's an odd thing to just declare, isn't it, that you're not a fascist? We assume, don't we? You wouldn't go up to someone on the street and do that, would you? And go to, oh, by the way, I'm not a fascist. You know, it's like they protest too much.
He criticized woke individuals for virtue signaling, According to Ricky, woke people often appear as if they're fighting for minority groups, but in reality, they may be using these groups as tools to make their opinions seem more important than they are. And it doesn't stop there. If someone dares to disagree with these views, woke individuals quickly resort to insults, shutting down opposing voices. This is something Ricky strongly dislikes.
Well, you say you're woke, but the companies you work for, I mean, unbelievable. Apple, Amazon, Disney. If ISIS started a streaming service, you'd call your agent, wouldn't you? So, if you do win an award tonight, don't use it as a platform to make a political speech, right? You're in no position to lecture the public about anything. You know nothing about the real world.
Ricky also recounts an interesting story that sheds light on how far woke individuals will go to feel offended, especially when it comes to issues that don't directly concern them. In discussing what triggers woke people to get upset, Ricky characterizes them as irrational, expressing disbelief at how they seem to actively search for things to be offended by. However, Ricky doesn't stop there in critiquing this mindset.
I once tweeted, I've put on £7 and a picture of me with a big belly. Do your worst. Insult me, right? People said, you shouldn't fat shame. What, me? I shouldn't fat shame me. Right, okay, my bad. Yeah. It's ludicrous what people get upset about.
Let's think about it for a second. If Ricky says he doesn't get offended by people's comments on social media, does that imply that woke individuals who are constantly offended are unhappy, feeling compelled to lash out at everything? Of all the pointed remarks Ricky has made about woke culture, this one stands out.
Who will go online and leave a comment? You might as well go and read Toilet Walls to get upset about them. I have never been upset by anyone on Twitter. I'm too happy.
Ricky's question challenges woke individuals directly, yet it has remained unanswered. In essence, Ricky suggests that woke people pretend to care about social issues by expressing outrage, but if they genuinely cared, they'd take meaningful action, like donating to those affected by wars, rather than merely criticizing others' opinions.
There are real things in the world. I once tweeted, people are more offended by jokes about war, famine, fucking murder than actual warfare. Yeah. They're not doing anything towards those. They shouldn't joke about it. What are you doing towards the real thing?
Staying in line with his criticisms, Ricky has expressed concern over woke publications telling comedians how they should perform their craft. Comedians have traditionally enjoyed creative freedom in their work, but with woke culture's rise, people have begun dictating what jokes should be made and which shouldn't. It doesn't take much to guess that Ricky didn't take kindly to this new trend. Watch how he delivers a biting comment aimed at those trying to control comedy.
Oxbridge comedians writing for the posh papers, telling you the rules of comedy. They're laying down the law, right? And it's all stuff like, comedy should punch up. You should never punch down. You should never punch down.
Sure, it's funny, and it seems like a joke, but Ricky still has more to say.
Sometimes you've got to punch down, like if you're beating up a disabled toddler. You know what I mean? If you punch up, you'll miss the little cunt and he'll win, you know?
Through yet another clever joke, Ricky critiques woke individuals once more, making it clear that doing something harmful should not be equated with merely talking about a controversial issue.
I like that joke because it highlights the difference between metaphorical punching down in jokes and actual punching down. But people nowadays want you to believe that words are actual violence, right? Now, you laughed at a joke about beating up a disabled toddler. No one got hurt. If I'd have actually dragged out a disabled toddler and started beating him up, you wouldn't laugh, right?
This ties back to his earlier comment. Feeling offended doesn't automatically make you right. According to Ricky, woke people tend to treat jokes about sensitive topics as if they were real acts of violence. And that's where Ricky draws the line. But Ricky isn't alone in Hollywood when it comes to thinking that woke culture has gone too far. Another star, Rob Schneider, was shocked by a recent woke trend in schools.
Unbelievably, on university campuses now they have free speech zones, which sounds cool and nice, but not that long ago the entire university was a free speech zone.
This troubling development arises as woke individuals clamp down on free speech. And when it happens in schools, it signals an attempt to groom the younger generation into silence. Ricky never misses a chance to challenge them. And if you don't believe me, Just look at Steve Carell's reaction.
Probably know me as the creator of The Office. No, you don't, do you? You think Steve Carell did it all? Oh, he's brilliant, isn't he, Steve Carell? He's amazing as the bumbling office manager. Where does he get his ideas from? Let's pay.
It's hard to say whether Steve was joking with that subtle, non-verbal gesture, but the underlying sentiment rings true. Ricky stands firmly against woke people, constantly forcing their ideas and beliefs onto others.
To go through life with no one ever saying anything that you don't agree with or like. I want people to stop saying that joke's offensive.
Yeah.
I want them to start saying I found it offensive. Because that's all it is. You're
Yeah.
just telling me how you feel about it.
Yeah.
He views it as arrogance. This speech illustrates that Ricky doesn't have a problem with woke individuals getting offended from time to time. The real issue lies in how they attempt to turn personal offense into a societal issue. Beyond this, Ricky had even stronger words for the woke community.
You don't have to pave the jungle.
Yeah.
You can just grow a pair and have a laugh about it. Yeah, but you shouldn't hurt people's feelings. Well, you can if their feelings are wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, if you don't like the facts, don't change the facts, change the feelings.
Yeah.
You know.
Once again, it boils down to the age-old debate between facts and feelings, one that has only intensified as woke culture gained momentum. When it comes to comedy, Ricky believes that things shouldn't be taken so seriously. He suggests that woke individuals should learn to lower their sensitivity and enjoy the humor, even if it's at their expense. His message couldn't have been clearer at the start of his monologue at the 2020 Golden Globes.
Let's go out with a bang. Let's have a laugh at your expense, shall we? Remember, they're just jokes. We're all going to die soon, and there's no sequel.
So, is Ricky Gervais right in his stance, or is he being a bit too harsh? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more, as the next video promises to be even more controversial.